rolling. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay. Let me see. Fresh new white polo. It's real this time. Barbershop Stories, the podcast, episode 15. I ain't got no seat today, so what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stand up because I feel kind of shy. Right here today.
With your crisp white on.
Hey, crisp white. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got the Fosters here with Royalty Financial Solutions.
Yes.
So we always talking about money in the barbershop, but a lot of times it's not, and I guess the term where everybody can understand it. Some do, some don't. So we brought in some experts, some real true Woodlonians.
Yes.
Y'all can't say we
It's my
lying.
pleasure to introduce to you today George and Kitanya Foster. Yeah. So what's happening?
What's happening, man? What's happening? I
Royalty
appreciate
Financial Solutions.
Royalty Financial Solutions.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for having us on, man, inviting us in here, man, and allowing us an opportunity to share what we do, giving us a platform, you know what I'm saying, to do that, man, and just doing what you do for the community, man, and what y'all do,
It's being seen.
Yeah,
I mean, but
not unnoticed, bro.
Yeah, because a lot of time when people do these interviews and podcasts, just for the record right here too, everybody feel like they got to get somebody who's big. But I feel like this, everybody big to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or you big to somebody who matter to you. So what we do is mess with what they call the commoners, the regular folks. And you know what I'm saying? But I don't think you're regular, obviously, because you're here. And there's going to be many just like you that grace these chairs without getting a haircut. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started up. I'm comedic narrator, haircut, Schlanger, Bennie Mac, and this is...
No, Sammy, no, man. Hey, y'all check us out from next week. Like I said, y'all ain't going to be able to say it's just a barbershop conversation. They lying, they just talk. You know what I'm saying? No, we got the experts in here. So listen up. We finna go over these finances, insurance. People that's in here kicking it with us, feel free to elaborate, come up, chill out, get closer so you can hear the conversation clear or be heard clear if you got questions to ask. And let's roll, man. We want to know what's going on with Royalty Financial Solutions.
Oh yeah, I was just about to ask the same thing. Just tell us the overview. What is Royalty Financial Solutions? What's that? Is it a tax service? Doing tax time? Is it insurance? Is it annuities? Is it? Just tell them a little bit about what it is.
Some stuff about finance.
You know what I mean? Hey, get with it every now and then. Hey.
But see, she is the professional one. I'll let her get an overview of what we do.
For Royalty Financial Solutions, we provide all things financial. So insurance is just one of the byproducts of what we do. Our main goal is to empower our community, empower mainstream America on how finances work, whether that's getting out of debt, whether that's how to make your money grow, how to save money. Our goal is just to empower our communities on how money works and how to make money in the process.
Especially our folks, man, because we so far behind on it, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we pride ourselves in, man. Trying to get our folks in.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think they far behind, or them niggas just ain't got no money? Because it's hard to really think and budget when you don't have nothing to budget.
Oh, we definitely have the money. We definitely have the money. We have huge buying power in America. Basically, America is really ran off of our funds. So we have the money, we're just not putting it in the right places. And so that's part of the education. We show people how to make their money work. And so when people tell me they don't have the money, I just simply tell them, show me your bank statement, and I can show you how to save some money. I can show you where your money is going. And 99.9%, we can redirect that money to where it needs to go in a way that's going to benefit their families.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess we're making good financial decisions. You recommend they start early, right?
Earlier the better.
The earlier the better. So what would be one of the first things that you would say, all right, you 21 years old, you got a job making pretty decent money, you fresh out of college, what would you want them to start investing their money? What's the first step that you would recommend?
Well, one of the things that what we've been taught in our communities was to save money in our banking institutions. Banking institutions serve a great purpose, but if you're looking to make your money grow and work for you, you need to start visiting the stock market or some ways that can yield you the type of interest rate that you need. Most people believe, that they're going to get rich by just saving their money. But in essence, if your goal is to save $1 million, if you put it in the bank, you're going to literally have to save $1 million.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we try to teach people about is the rule of 72. And basically what that is if you take your interest rate and you divide it into 72, that's gonna let you know how fast it's gonna take your money to double.
Yeah.
Your money isn't doubling in banks. So again, we would have to put our money in vehicles that enable it to grow and work just as hard as we're working. So while I'm out here working, I want my money working just as hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the banking institutions know this rule. So think about if you have $500 in the bank, okay? So when you get your statement, you're gonna have what? About 501 cents.
No, 503 cents.
Okay,
Yeah,
3
right.
cents or something like that. So the banking institutions knows this rule, but do you know that many of them, they're yielding about 7% off of your money. So they're making more money
Yeah, they're making
off of
the
our money
Yeah.
than we're
yeah,
making.
Yeah, they're making the
So
money.
shouldn't that be the other way
Yeah,
around?
should be the other way around, or
So-
at least an even playing field, somewhat of an even playing field.
So to answer your question, we like the earlier you start saving and investing, the better. So if you
Yeah.
can start at 20, 21, 18 years old, or better yet, when our kids are born, instead of spending all this money on Jordans and $1,000 birthday parties and all the other things that we spend money
You know
on,
somebody had a
we
$5
set
birthday party?
birthday parties are getting
Man, what you
expensive
talking
now,
about,
okay?
Yeah.
I remember,
Expensive
I
now.
remember,
All of it.
shit, I
Birthday
remember
party, prom.
$100, man,
Graduation.
they had your full party.
So
Hot
imagine
dog,
if we
cake.
took that money and we invested it, put it in mutual funds or something like that,
Yeah.
instead of putting it on $200 Jordans or whatever, or fancy birthday parties. Imagine how much money they would have by the time they're 18 or by the time they're 21.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait until you're 21 to start saving. We can start saving for our kids as soon as they're born. Start putting aside for them then. So that way when they're our age, you have something to show for it.
Yeah.
We're not having to go get in debt to go to college.
Okay, all right, so for somebody that's young, that's 18, 19 years old, and they choose to make some of those investments, do you recommend a percentage of their income or their net income, or a percentage of their gross income, or just try to get them to meet a certain amount?
Pay yourself like you're the most important person in the world. You want to save as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong answer. There's no limit. You know what I'm saying? No max or minimum. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you can. And we say as much as you can. Because you know what I'm saying? The goal is to be financially free at a certain age. So we just want to educate people on that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's part of what we do as well. So you tell us what your financial goals are. We sit down with you. We come up with what we call a financial needs analysis. And so we like to compare that to what we like a GPS. So if you were, for instance, if we had to put in an address to get here, it's going to tell you how many turns to make, what street to turn on. So what our financial need analysis does, you let us know what your goals are. We come up with a plan to help you get there. So everybody's plan may not be to become a millionaire. You know, some people may have their goal is to save 500,000. Some might be $1 million or 2 or 3. I'm expensive. I'm in the million. So if you tell us that's what your goal is, we sit
work
down
toward it.
and we come up with a plan to help you get there faster, and that determines on how much you need to save.
Okay, well, one thing I know, before we get too deep off in, we got to touch this almost first. Now, a lot of people kicking the bucket, and they got to get cremated in electric ovens and shit because they run the little short on that change. What's your advice to people in the financial decision to get an insurance policy and whether to get whole or term or a little bit of both? What's your recommendation on that?
Well, we recommend you get insurance as soon as you can, man. Cause the younger you are, the better. The older you are, the more expensive it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? There's 2 types of insurance, whole and term, as most people know. And all insurance is the same. It just has a start date and an end date. So all insurance, in essence, is term. You know what I'm saying? We recommend term because it's cheaper, and you're actually able to get more coverage at a cheaper price. You know what I'm saying? And that way you're actually using insurance for what it's actually intended for, and that's to be income protection. Because that's the only reason you need insurance is to protect the income. You know what I'm saying? You got people depending on you. You need some income. You need some insurance.
They had to be able to replace you when you're gone.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are just uneducated about the fact. So,
And why insurance is
There you go.
important.
yeah.
We have insurance on our cell phones. We have insurance on our homes, on our cars. So why not insure ourselves and our income? Because if something was to happen to a breadwinner, Our kids are dependent on us. Our spouses are dependent on us. You know, some of us help take care of our parents. So if anything should happen to one of us and people are dependent on our income, then guess what happens? You know, the quality of life drastically goes down. And so that's why we tell people, you have to have insurance. It's important. And not only that, it's one way to create generational wealth. Everybody's doing that but us. Every other community is doing that but us. But we're taught, people are coming into our communities and telling us to buy enough insurance to put us in the ground. Well, then what does that do? That person is in the ground, but then kids still need clothes, they still need food, they still need a house, a roof over their head.
So that's why white folk don't be crying at the funeral, because they got that bread. They be standing out there like, see, hey, you good?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
3 days in the ground.
I mean, because the goal is don't leave me sad and broke.
Yeah.
All right, I'd rather be sad, but a nice check to know that my family's gonna be provided for, that's gonna help. That's gonna alleviate some of that pain. We're leaving people in our communities sad and broke, and it's devastating to see. So that's just part of our mantra. Like, we have to get out in our communities more and just teach people the importance of insurance, to teach people the importance of financial education. Nobody's going into our schools and teaching us this. We graduated from the same high school. Nobody taught us about how money. Go girls. Nobody taught us about how money works. And you're talking to, I have a degree. I have an accounting degree. So I was actually paid to handle people's money, to handle their books. I can do a mean financial statement. I can do a lot of stuff with financial reports. Nobody taught me how money works. And I can't even tell you how much money I spent on school. And I know, so there are so many more Katanyas and George out there with the same story.
Let me ask you something though. Do you think you think they knew? The people that supposed to been, the generation before us, that's supposed, as far as how money works.
You mean?
Cause I mean, I feel like our generation, maybe the generation before us might have been the first ones getting some of those more, up to beat education, basically. Before that, you heard the story. Granddad dropping out in 4th grade. He had to take care of his 6th grade and all that. People weren't even finishing middle school, let alone high school. So do you think we actually, if we was up to speed,
I think if we were educated, we'll be able to make better decisions. The
As a whole.
Of course. The information's always been there. We just didn't have
Didn't
anybody
know
to
it.
come out there and teach it to us. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they weren't getting it at home.
Exactly.
Our parents and our grandparents, they couldn't teach us what they didn't know.
Exactly.
So we really can't hold them accountable for what they didn't know.
No.
But the bigger question is that we have to, why didn't they know it? Why didn't we know it? America is thriving off of our lack of education. So now it's time for us to empower ourselves and use all this stuff to benefit us so we can become part of the 1%. Now all of our dollars are helping the 1% stay the 1%. And so now it's time for us to learn how money works so we can start becoming a part of that 1%.
Oh, yeah.
But see, I said that to say because a lot of us, and even in, our generation, mama still handle a lot of our business. Mama still got the pilots on you. Mama still, So it's like we got stuff in their hands and that we can be learning this stuff. We can go to the internet and learn this. These people barely know how computers and phones work. They still got the flip. So somebody got to go back and tell mama and grandma and them. Somebody got to go back and review this stuff. Somebody got to go back and research, pull them shoe boxes out that they got put up and see what's going on with them policies. Because that cover might be null and void or anything, man. It can be situations where you might be thinking everybody covered. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying about the generation. We ain't have nobody to teach us, as far as how it really works. Not that you need to have some. Everybody always say you need to have some. But did they really know how it worked? Are we really leaving it in their hands to understand? You know what I'm saying?
And what they thought was right. Because when, the same conversation we had, and I'm sure somebody said, you need to get some insurance, and you took your little money and got it. And it might have been the worst policy in history. What them folk name was on 3rd Avenue South, in the tall building, I ain't gonna even give you no problem. But you know they've been slaughtering folks for years. A lot they had a big class action
Boy, you
lawsuit
crazy,
on
man.
how they basically took all them folks' money. 3rd Avenue South, I ain't gonna say your name, but you live in town, that whole get live in town. But anyway, yeah,
You gonna
so
put them out there.
yeah.
That's right, they should be.
yeah, so they slaughtered a lot of people, and a lot of those people thought they were doing right. And I guess another part of the question with life insurance, I'm gonna ask, you know, a lot of time when you purchase a home, they'll offer you insurance to cover, they just say to pay it off if you die or whatever. Do you recommend a person getting life insurance and having that on their home? Or one or the other? Or just make sure one of them is sufficient to cover all of that just in case of
You just need to
tragedy.
get one to make sure it's sufficient to cover, and that's life insurance, man. You don't want.
yeah, because
You
you
want a
know,
policy that you have control over. So
Exactly.
basically what you just described is they're insuring, for
Their
instance,
money.
they're offering you that policy because they want to make sure you're going to be able to pay for that house.
Exactly.
yeah,
It's like collateral almost.
Mhm.
So, but you want something that you control over, that you have complete control over. So that's why we always recommend to people, get something outside of your job. Because that insurance that you have on your job is great that you've taken that step, but you have to think about, why did I do that? Most people's sole reason for getting insurance on their job is if anything happened to them, they want to make sure their family's provided for. But what happens if you lose that job?
yeah, you right
Then
about
your
that.
insurance is going with it. You have no control over it. And even on the job, it's not your policy. You have a certificate for that policy. And so we've had to learn this the hard way.
Yeah,
So we're products of the product. Like our business is really birthed out of a need. In 2016, I found myself in that
That's what you
same
found out.
situation.
Yeah, we didn't
You
know
know,
we needed it until we almost
We didn't know
needed
we needed it until we almost needed it. 2016, he was in the hospital. They told me he was gonna die.
Shit.
You know, they just automatically just prepared me for the end. Guess what? All of our insurance is on my job. Guess what else happened? I got fired. 4
Shit.
weeks into that. They knew he was on the ventilator. They knew that we had kids.
You gotta be there.
And so I lost my job. So should anything have happened to George?
Mm.
Thank God he's still here, but if anything would have happened to him,
He would've
guess
been
what
messed up,
position
right?
my family would have been in? Because I had a good job with a Fortune 500, with a Fortune 500 company. And you see what happened. So that's why we tell people, you have to have something that you control, that you have complete control. We don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
on these jobs. It's a blessing to have it, but you want control at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, because I know like a lot of those homes, I heard a lot of situations over the years where people got disability insurance. So when they got hurt at their job, they paid the house notes for them. Or when some of them died, they paid off the balance of that house and they kept the policy. But I'm assuming that's probably based on the budget too, of what they got in extra money to be able to spend. Because all that insurance go to getting expensive. You go to get life insurance, home insurance, disability insurance. Now you got cancer insurance.
Insurance.
They got a lot of insurance.
Flood insurance. Fire insurance.
And you have to read those contracts
Yeah.
You got
because
to.
with, the accidental death and disability insurance, you have to die a certain way within a certain amount of
yeah,
time
you
for
gotta
them to
be
pay
up
out.
on them, man.
So, I was under, before we had to become knowledgeable about this subject, I was under the same impression that many other people. It's an accident. They had a car accident and passed away.
You gotta die a certain
I should
way,
get my
lay in a
200
certain
I should
way,
get my
at a certain
200.
time, and it's a lot.
Exactly. I should get my $100,000, but no, that's not the case. You have to read the contract and really understand how insurance works, or
Exactly.
you may become a victim, and you've paid out all your money.
Yeah, it's something serious.
Yeah.
I don't with them 2-year contingent
Yeah.
policies. So all about you died 2 weeks early. They better keep him out.
Yeah.
Keep that nigga out. Goddamn. Just let him put him in the freezer. Hold his legs up, put him in
That's
that
true.
freezer.
That's true, man. That's just like the other insurance, the whole life insurance that comes with a savings savings account attached to it, so to say, that you can possibly borrow against. That they tell you can't, you know what I'm saying, and stipulations to that. You know what I'm saying? They don't tell you there may be a surrender charge to where you can't utilize that money and have access to that money for a certain period of time, but you think you can access it like that, but they don't tell you that. Another thing they don't tell you is that you don't get to keep that money neither. You know what I'm saying? Should you know what I'm saying, at the event you have to exercise the death benefit, it's either one or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No savings and death benefit.
But see, it's interesting though because I know me and Sam had a conversation about it because I got a whole bunch of pilots. I'm like that family member who gonna insure everybody. Don't call me talking about this motherfucker done died. And they just got to have a fire party now.
They got no insurance.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to put them on 350.
So what we gonna say to you, Bennie Mac, is let us have a look at
Oh, yeah,
all 12
yeah.
of your insurance
Yeah, 'cause-
policies to ensure that it's working the way you think
Oh yeah,
it
I
is.
mean, cause don't get me wrong, I'm a financial expert myself. I just don't have no license. But I purchased those policies, for similar reasons. Folks went to dying,
Yeah.
and you talking about you owe somebody $5,000 and everybody got $50 a piece, and it's 10 of y'all, and they be buried 3 weeks later.
You're doing
You know what
fish
I'm saying?
fries and GoFundMe account.
Exactly. So
Charge the store.
So when I got educated on it in the early 2000s, you know what I'm saying? It didn't happen early. So I found out that it was good to get both. Now the term was the most popular, but the whole could benefit you depending on what age you got it at and how much money you had to invest in it. And once it got to a certain amount, snatch that little change out and get rid of it. So I was taught like that, to get in and get out. It wasn't meant to have for 40, 50 years.
Oh no.
It was meant to get that little change, like I'm gonna tear their ass up in about a couple weeks.
Exactly.
So, I just let them build to a certain point, put it on the younger folks. The older folks get the term, because the term is, of course, is cheaper.
You just giving yourself an interest-free loan, though.
Goddamn
I
right.
mean, so that's what you're doing. But there's other places where you can save that same
Oh, yeah.
money.
Exactly.
It can grow a lot faster for you instead of locking it into an insurance policy, especially a whole life insurance policy. So I mean, while that's the means to an ends what our grandparents did. That was cool in our grandparents' days. That's not cool in our days. Grandmama didn't have a lot. Things didn't cost a lot in grandmama days. Granddaddy didn't have a lot. Today you got a lot. It costs a lot. Therefore, you need a lot more. So we can't do what our grandparents did thinking it's gonna work for us today. You know what I'm saying? So those means don't work, so we have to do something different. So you don't actually need both. You actually just need a good 5-term policy that's gonna take you till you retire and get it big enough where it's gonna cover everything that you actually need. That whole life insurance agent only benefit me, the person who's gonna sell it to you, and the insurance company who's selling it to you. It don't benefit the client. It never does. It only benefits me because I make a shit ton of money selling it to you. That's it. And it makes an insurance company a shit ton of money. There is no bill on this earth you want to pay for the rest of your life until you die, right? But somebody convinced us that was normal. Pay this insurance policy for the rest of your life until you die. Who's gonna do that?
Nobody.
The most important person you need to pay yourself like you're the most important person in the world, and you'll never have a money problem, right? And therefore you don't have to need an insurance policy. Because think about this, if everybody on this panel has $1 million in their pocket each, what we need insurance policies for?
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So the goal is to be cash rich. Get to the cash. You get the insurance because I don't have the cash now. So let me protect that income now.
Yeah.
But once I get my ass out of debt
Good.
and I can start saving and investing in bread, I get to the paper, I don't need an insurance policy. Write a check for it, let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
Preach.
it's just the miseducation. So he asked the question a few minutes ago. It's almost like, why didn't they teach us this in grade school? Why didn't Woodlawn teach us this? Why didn't the school system teach us this? It's by design.
Yeah,
I can if I can keep you ignorant, I can keep getting over on you.
Yeah.
Right? But an educated consumer, man, can make educated decisions. You can't get over somebody that's really educated with the facts.
Yeah.
Not just something I want you to know. But if you know the facts, ain't no way I can get over on people. Because you have the facts now. So now you can make an educated decision based off of that. But when the school systems don't teach it to us, the churches don't teach it to us, our parents didn't know about it, how do I win the money game if I was never taught the rules to it?
You can't.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
Learn as you go.
Right.
make it tough. It's a great comment, too.
That's good.
What's your name, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me your
Man,
name. You ain't gotta show your
you gotta
face.
drop.
Man.
Huh?
Andre Allen.
Oh, I thought you said Leroy Allen. I said Leroy. Hold on. I just said you got a real nigga name. They know that money. But yeah, that's what's up, though. I agree, man. Because, like I said, I buy them all the time. But like I said, I buy them for different reasons. But of course,
Right.
90% of them are turn.
That's right.
The last one I'm going to pull that money out of, it'll probably be next week. Just being for real, I ain't going to say it loud because
That's
one,
right.
I have purchased
Yeah.
both. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so, and I actually was going to sell it, I just ain't went and got the license. I ain't want to get the license. But my brother do.
Okay.
So
Oh, yeah?
he probably, ain't no telling, he might pop up through here. But yeah, so of course
Good to have.
we definitely be on his money,
Truck.
man. And I think it was great to have, great to have other people who literate about this money because a lot of people are not that literate when it comes to their money, make $100,000 a year and
Low
stay
too
broke.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're right, man.
They
Worse
set me
off.
down. I can
Gotta
speak
know
from
how it work.
experience. There's a lot to learn.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot to learn. Them two
It is.
fellas set me down, and I still ain't got everything just down packed and sharp as I want. Cause like Bennie said, I'm pretty nifty about moving money and making things work for me all my life.
Yeah.
But to know how it actually works, you know what I'm saying, as far as how it grows, and it was an interesting conversation with y'all fellas, man.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. That's what we do.
Really.
Man.
And we need it.
Very inspirational.
Oh
We
yeah,
need
man.
it. It's time. It's
We
time.
gotta make that money grow. We gotta get out of debt.
Yeah,
We gotta
man.
make this
Gotta
money
do
grow.
all that.
And it's just crazy. Our African American women and Hispanic women are the biggest consumers in the country, period. They make the world go round.
Buy some
Women
shit.
buy. If you want to get rich in America, you buy what your women are buying.
Yeah.
Not what's hot right now, but what it takes to run their house. Because if they're buying it in their house, the woman next door is buying it, the woman
Okay.
next door is buying it, the woman across the street is buying it. And these women, just like Katanya said, they only shop not only for themselves, they shop for them spouses,
Yeah.
they shop for them children, they shop for them parents, right? You invest and buy what women are buying, you'll get rich in America. It ain't
Real
hard,
shit.
Yep.
right? You just buy that. And don't deviate from that. I'm just talking about from toilet paper to the cell phone. Whatever they're buying,
you
whatever
on to some of
grocery
that
store they
toilet
go
paper.
to,
They go
buy
to-
that.
You go
Yeah,
to a
but-
45 roll box in a week.
Yeah.
Motherfucker eat that
I
shit,
was saying
dog.
you took it out my mouth.
Damn.
Yeah, eat tissue.
You don't
Wrap
understand the
that whole forearm with tissue. Ranch out with it
Tissue
too,
movie.
huh?
We don't have the luxury that y'all have, and I'm gonna let it stay right
Okay,
there.
they got their head. Wiggle.
But hey, I enjoyed every moment of what we talked about thus far. But a couple more questions about making those finances work, of course. What I wanted to know was when we was talking about earlier about it was the insurance when we was talking about the term versus the life. Clarify what the difference is so people kind of know. I know we've talked about it, but kind of just outright clarify the two.
Okay. So, term insurance basically means it has. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You got it. You got it. Go.
All insurance is basically term. It has a start date and end date. So think about on our job, it's term. It's based off of when we begin our jobs and when we leave our jobs. Cell phone insurance is term. It's typically renewed every month. Homeowners insurance, term, typically renewed every year.
Car insurance.
Car insurance, that's what you call annual renewing term. So that's renewed every 6 months or to every year. Whole life insurance is like what Mr. Andre said. It's an insurance that you're paying for your whole life.
Exactly.
There is, as he mentioned, there is no bill you want to pay for your entire
Well,
life
Except
outside
you.
Over
of
the
you.
Alabama Power.
You know, one of the draws, because you need that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But-
you ain't lying.
Take that water work.
And we got that one.
So, with whole life, what draws a lot of people in is that savings benefit. That what draws many people in because they feel like it gives them an opportunity to have the insurance and the coverage that they need, but then also give them the ability to save.
So you think that's what they sell it on?
That's what they
Of
sell
course,
it on.
of course.
But think about this. Why do you need to bundle your insurance and savings? Do you have a savings account attached to your homeowners? Do we have savings accounts attached to our auto insurance? So who does it benefit to bundle that?
So they win
Yes.
twice.
So
Exactly.
think about this, just a real life example. So let's say who you guys bank with? Store bank out there. Iberia. So let's say you save $3,000. You think you're gonna go to the bank and you're gonna withdraw $3,000. So you go up and say, "Hey, Miss Taylor, I'd like to take my $3,000 out." And they say, "Well, yes, sir, Mr. Bennie. We'll loan it to you with an 8% interest rate." How would y'all feel? That would piss you off, wouldn't it? You'll be throwing over some tables. You
Your
might
money.
jump over the counter.
Yeah, you
You
want your
they
money.
may have all sorts of issues.
Mhm.
So that was all your money that you saved, but they want to loan it to you, and they want you to pay it back with interest. That's how whole life policies work.
Exactly.
That's money that you save, but when you need it, you have to pay it back.
Tax.
So if you have to pay it back, that makes it a loan. and then they're charging you interest to pay it back. And just like George was mentioning, you know, let's say you have a face value of $50,000, and you may have accumulated $1,000 worth of cash savings. So, but most people think if there's a need and you need that policy, somebody actually passes away, you're not gonna walk away with both. You're gonna have to choose between the face amount of your policy or the amount that you save.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Ms. Shaw. So what if they just say 3 years in the policy, you got 1,500. You take that 1,500 out, 2 years later, that person passed, you still get that face value amount?
So you're not gonna get that face value. First off, you might have to wait longer than 3 years to be able to access your money, depending on the type of policy that you have. So there's a chance that you may not even accumulated that much money. So if you take that money out, it's gonna come off of your face amount. So, but you paid for how much? So if I'm paying for 50,000, something happened, I'm expecting 50,000. Don't give me 47,000. Because the money that I saved, hell, that should be my money. I saved it.
Yep.
But guess who keeps it? And they call it administrative costs. And most times we're grieving, we're not even seeing what's going on, but they're walking away with our money. And then you have grandparents and aunts and uncles who pass away, and they've been paying on policies
And
their
borrowing
whole
off the
life.
Never thought about it.
And you get to the point where it's time to bury them, and you want to give me a $2,500 check, and I've been paying for something my whole damn life. This is a situation that people in our communities come into every day. His great grandmother happened the same thing, the same way. Family members having to put up money to be able to bury somebody who's been paying on a life insurance policy her whole life.
Even if they just gave back the premium, she's been
You
all
know
right.
what I'm saying?
Exactly. Oftentimes that's happening. You pay more into the policy
Then
What
it's
it's
actually
worth.
than
worth.
it's actually worth. So when it comes to life insurance, that's why we tell people, look, let us sit down and look at your
what you got.
policy just to see if it's working the way you think it is. If it is, awesome. 9.9% of the time,
It's not.
it isn't. And so, and that's just one of the benefits that we offer. Like I said, life insurance is one thing that we offer, but financial education, that's the goal. But it starts there. Insurance is one of the ways to help you get, because our goal is to get you to retirement.
Okay, so so when y'all do y'all consultation, do y'all do it like a diagnostic, where it's $99 if you just check it out, but it's free if you buy a policy from me? I'm just trying to see, for the people who watch it,
we sit down with you for free, man.
Okay,
sit
all
down
right.
with you for
See,
free.
look at that. The faucet sit down with you for free.
Because grown people, most adults, and people about their business want to know how to make money, how to protect their family, and how to plan for retirement. Those are the people we sit down and talk to.
So when y'all talk about the stock market, what type of stuff are we investing in? I heard man spoke on the products, watch what the women buying, watch what they taking off the shelves in the grocery store. And then are these investments compatible to like 401ks? Or is the kick out the same? Is the interest rate the same?
Okay.
Kind
Well,
of
disclaimer,
speak on that.
I am not fully licensed for investments yet. So to not get ourselves in any trouble, I
Okay.
can't advise anybody on that end.
That's real.
And then she look right
But
at
we
me,
do
she say,
have someone who is fully licensed.
Okay.
And Mr. Andre could possibly answer it.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
possibly,
yeah.
but answer all of those questions
Okay.
for you. But I'm not trying to get ourselves, we know how it works, but we're not trying to get ourselves in
Yeah,
a sticky situation on camera.
All right. So
Yeah.
what about annuities?
That was a good one.
We can't do
So
it.
what about
annuities?
annuities? So explain, because a lot of time people, they see these commercials with the annuities, with the horse running through the field and this shit, and it look great. But exactly what are annuities for those who may not know?
It's a
What are
pension
annuities?
check.
Huh?
It's a pension check.
Pension check.
That's all it is. It's just the money that you've accumulated. You're now creating it and turning it into a pension check for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, so that's the reason why we must save. So let's say if I get to $1 million saved up, well, I don't want to keep $1 million in my bank. First of all, I want them to know about it. Second of all, I want to hide that money from taxes as long as possible. So annuities allow you to put money in a position where you can keep it tax free or tax deferred, and I can actually draw off some interest from that money. So let's use and say, like I said, if for example, $1 million. If I had $1 million saved up liquid cash, the annuity would usually allow you to draw like 5% of that money a year, which is $50,000 a year that you can just live off the interest of the million.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it's important for us to accumulate some type of net worth so that we can actually live off the interest of our money, not actually just living off the goose of the money, right? Right, because that's what's happening. A lot of our parents are retiring with $250,000. They finna live off of that. 3 years they broke.
Yeah.
But if you actually accumulate that money, you know, usually if you work a job like U.S. Steel or Citco, they're gonna give you a pension check, right? You hear the old man be like, "Yo, I got a pension check. It's coming every month." Well, that number is tied to a bigger pot of money somewhere. But most companies don't allow you to roll that money out into a pension yourself. So it's like winning the lottery. If you was winning the lottery today, do you want the lump sum payout or do you want a monthly check?
Man, send me the monthly check.
Do you want the monthly check?
You want
All right, no. You want the lump sum payout.
Well, you asked me, man. I
Right.
said, I want the monthly.
Right. So you never want the monthly pay, right? Because this is how that annuities work, right? So assuming if you got the lump sum payout, you can always control your own money, right? I got all my money, let me go do what I want to do with it. If I take the monthly check, let's just say 5 months into it, you die.
Okay. Well,
Let it go.
Well, let me ask you this. So what if I take the monthly check for 2 years? Then I want to do something like call JG Wentworth, 877 cash now. Can I get it like that? I mean, well, you know.
The reason why JG Wentworth exists is because people don't read their contracts.
Yeah.
And right,
He
JG
gonna
Wentworth
collect
is
your
trying
money.
to get you your money back.
Yeah.
And of course he gonna charge you a fee to get
Sizable
your
fee.
money back,
Well, they
right?
did come on.
That's
They
a
came
surrender
on the
charge that
phone.
you can read in your
They
pocket.
can't. I mean, I don't mind busting over JG if you can
Right.
get the money. Keep
Yeah.
10.
Right.
Shit.
That surrender,
I
that
spent
surrender
$20
charge
to
is
get it
gonna
anyway.
kill you. But,
They gonna keep
but
learning.
they're great vehicles though for the right individual. I just don't think everybody needs them until you actually accumulate, 6 figures or something like that. Annuity's not for you.
Yeah.
Right. If you got 6 figures or something like that going towards 7, and you just want to hide it from taxes or delay it from taxes, perfect.
Okay, so what are some other options, as far as some people can take on investment in? He said the annuities you got to be a somewhat like ball.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the next step
Makes sense.
with the five figure? Out of the 6 figure, we're going to the 5 figure. What would be a good
100,000 now.
Yeah, or 100 now, 1,000 now, 5 figure now. What some good investment they can make for them?
The vehicle mutual fund.
Yeah, mutual
Mutual
funds.
funds. Okay.
Many different tools, and with mutual funds, you can start with a little.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can start with as little as $25, man. I
You want to start with more,
Of
if
course,
possible,
of course.
but you don't have to have a lot of money to start,
Yeah.
to begin investing it all.
Okay. All
Again,
right,
that's all we can say on that.
Yeah, 'cause we got to talk to them $100 now. There's a lot of $100 now watching now. They look like they're rich online, but
But imagine if you
It
started
ain't
putting
pulling up.
$100 aside every month at 21. And so we have a tool, and George is pulling it up. Depending on the rate of return you have, anybody can become a millionaire. We have to not be so afraid of that word. If we start saving, realistically, if we start saving, you can become a millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't take you saving $5,000 a month. You can start with a little as $100 a month or $200 a month, depending on your age. And over time, with the right rate of return, you have your $1 million. And think about if, in addition to that, you're doing your 401k if you have a 401k on your job.
You
So
asking some question? I'm
along with those tools, you put all that together, you're going in the right direction. So we just need to put our money back to putting our money in vehicles that work just as hard as we are. It's possible. We're just not doing it.
all right. So back to the 401k. I know you made a suggestion earlier that it's best for you to control your own money. All right, and have the options to be able to do what you want to do. So instead of investing that 401k, wouldn't it be wiser if those people had the knowledge of it to invest that money themselves?
Well, why not do both? Because with a 401k, again, I'm not the expert, but you typically with 401ks, you have jobs that's matching your money.
Exactly.
So that's free money. I'm not going to turn down free money.
Right.
But I'm also going to put my money in other vehicles as well that's working along with my 401k
And you can
with a good rate of return and use them both together.
Okay, so with that 401 though, but
You have to know how it's working.
I know the last job I had was at Captain D's over there on, over there on Crestwood Boulevard. That was in '98. So I ain't have no 401. We just had fish benefits and shit. Like when you work hard, you get a 10 piece at the end of the week. But far as with the 401, I do know this though. It's a high rate interest rate when you pull that money. So even though they may be doubling that money or they matching that money, but if they charging you, I don't know what the percentage rate is, but I know it's a penalty, a fee, and all that to pull it. Is it really worth it? Opposed to you investing your own money? If they taxing you that hard?
Well, think about what the 401k is for. Typically, it's to save. So that's what they want you to do, to save. And that fee is a penalty. They're charging you that penalty when you're pulling it out. So that's the taxes and all that stuff that they're charging to pull it out. But the goal is to save.
Just leave it there.
So if you leave it there to save for your retirement and use it for that, it's a good tool because again, you have them giving you free money as well. And you just need to make sure that it's working the way it needs to work to achieve your financial goals. So a lot of people don't understand their 401k. A lot of people, they're putting money into the 401k, but they don't look at it. They have no clue how it's working for them.
But could you give us a brief summary? Cause like I say, I ain't got one of them kind of jobs. Could you give us and the listeners a brief summary on how 401k works?
Mr. Andre?
Mostly, you're paying into your payroll. Every payroll cycle, a portion of that money goes into a 401k or 403b if you work for the hospital or school systems. That money's all tax deferred. You hadn't paid any taxes on that money, so it's all tax deferred, and it'll be tax deferred until you actually pull that money out. So just because you work at a job and they give you a 401k, if you're putting money into it, you're just contributing to it. If the 401k is not set up the right way, which means the mutual funds or the stock or the investments inside that 401k is not set up the right way, then you could might as well be putting your money under your mattress or putting it in a rat hole because your job is not going to teach you how to set up your 401k. They're not interested in teaching you how to set up your 401k. They're interested in paying you just enough on Friday to get you back in there on Monday. Right, so it's up to the employee to go seek out a financial professional to teach them how to set up their 401k the right way to make sure that when they're contributing to it, that it makes sense for them to actually contribute to it. You get what I'm saying? Right, because all this stuff is tied to the stock market, and it'll get you a good interest rate if you knew how to set it up the proper way.
Oh, okay. Because I know a lot of times when jobs offer stuff, it's gonna be in the best interest of the job. So even if let's just say. We'll say Sam was working at the Piggly Wiggly warehouse. Boom, he got his 401k set up. They want to set him up. He can actually come in there and say, hey man, look, my advisor said this ain't what's happening. Would you have that option with that job? Because most of the time they ain't gonna say you can use George or Andre. No, you're gonna use K1. That's it. That's who we go through. That's our boy, and we probably got a backdoor deal. Can you actually go in and opt out of it, or you just have to take it along with your job?
Yeah, usually while you're at the job, you have to take what they offer, whatever plan that they offer. Now, anytime you leave your job, you take your money with you, and you can roll over to whoever you want to, or whoever you see fit to manage your money. You know what I mean? But don't ever leave your money at a job. If you leave, take your money with you, right? They didn't want you there. Your money don't need to be there. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of issues that most people have. They end up leaving job after job and leaving money there. You know what I mean? But that's a bad idea to do. Always take your money with you and do something else with it. But as long as you're there, take advantage of the many tools that they have for you. Contribute.
That's right.
All day.
Get your change. Get your change.
All day.
Yeah, man. That's interesting because, like you said, turning that money, that's what you want to do, man. And most of us, we just saving it, in banks till we need it, honestly. You know what I'm saying? That's what most commoners do, you know what I'm saying? Saving until we need it.
That's what we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Royalty Financial Solutions. Any advice, any recommendations that you want to give to people who are here, who listening, who grasping something from this? Any recommendations? Any good advice?
Start now if you haven't started. To get yourself in order. It isn't too late. It's never too early, but it's definitely not too late to start getting yourself in order financially, man. Like she said, we're products of the product. We found it out of a need. We really needed it, and we saw, and through the need, we saw an opportunity, and through the opportunity, man, we found a ministry, and it's our passion now, man. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
man,
Because
preaching job.
Yeah.
Man, get on
Job.
out of here, man.
Charge around with the job.
Hey,
We've been giving this
man, I mean,
platform.
hey, man. I mean, but for real, man. I mean, this is what we do.
That's what's
You know
up,
what I'm
man.
saying? And a lot of people don't know, and it's our job to let them know.
Yeah.
You know?
Our pain is
Put it
blessing
out
a
there.
lot of people.
Yeah, it really is.
Our hardships and everything that we've experienced, God is using it to bless a lot of people. So not trying to be religious or anything, but at the end of the day, God wastes nothing. So we've gone through this so we can go out and educate our communities, our families. And so to answer your question, the last thing I want to leave with people, come give us a call. Let us help you set up a financial needs analysis just to determine and get everybody on the right track financially. We all have goals. We all want to leave an inheritance behind for our kids and for our kids, for our children's children.
Yeah.
So let us help you do that.
Okay.
And we also, like George said in the beginning, our goal is to help people make money and save money. So we have opportunities as well. So just like we've learned in a short amount of time, this has become a business for us. It can become a business for you guys as well.
Okay.
The financial industry is one of the most lucrative industries in America.
world.
Everybody needs it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know how to make their money work. Everybody needs to know how to get out of debt. Everybody needs to know about the services that we offer because this is what's used in America today.
Yeah.
So I like to tell people, just reach out to us. We can help you with all of your financial needs, whether it's insurance, whether it's annuities, whether we need to help you
Yeah.
understand how to work that 401k that you were talking about that you have on your job. There's so many things that we can help families put together.
Okay, all right, well, I guess the last thing, give them a number and a website, Facebook, any social media where they can reach you. Cause I'm sure somebody gonna hit you up, your phone ring, need 10% call. Go ahead and give me your info.
All right.
Give me your info.
Well, I'm Katanya Foster. You can reach me directly at 205-873-4411. I'm on Facebook as Katanya Shaw Foster. My tag on Instagram is the_financial_empress. That's on Instagram. Facebook, you can reach us at Royalty Financial Solutions.
That's it. Yeah, I'm George Foster, 205-873-5573, and at Royalty Financial Solutions on Facebook, George Foster on Facebook as well. So, hey, this is what we do. Holler at us if you need us, and we look forward to changing some lives together. You know what I'm saying?
I'm completely vouching, man. Hey, you help me straight some things out when I rap with y'all fellas, man. So
My dog, my
hey,
dog.
I'm completely vouching for it. Give them a call. Let them, like I said, give you the analysis. Sit down, look at what you got. You know, pull grandma stuff out, pull mama stuff out, make sure they stuff right.
Definitely.
Like you said.
Those policies that work for mom and grandma are not gonna work for you.
Yeah, make sure everybody stuff right, cause hey, it's only helping us, man. You know,
Yeah. Any shout outs?
shouldn't be that hard.
Any shout outs to anybody before you leave? You know black folks like shout out, man. Come on, shout a couple of them folks out.
Shout out to the kids at home. Shout out
Yeah.
to our team. Like
Hey, what's
we're
up?
building the empire, so all our teammates, you know who you
shout
are.
out,
I
shout
grew
out.
up with them too,
RVPs.
man. Woodlawn band,
Yeah,
you know,
man. Shout out to the
Woodlawn, you
Colonels.
know, we gotta get
Class
that
of
in. I
97.
ain't mean to cut you off,
No,
don't
you're
tell
good.
you.
You're good.
I just had to holler at the kids too. You know, we love the kids.
Alright, shout out to the fam, man. I appreciate y'all for having us on.
Yeah.
Man. I really do, man. Getting us a
That's
platform.
right. That's right. Hey,
Share what we do.
anytime you want to come back, share some information, man, you're
My
always
dog.
welcome here
My
on
dog.
Barbershop Stories, the podcast, and I am comedic narrator, haircut Schlanger, Bennie Mac. This is
Salmon no
This is Salmon
goddamn
No
folks.
Nos, and these are the
Fosters.
The Fosters. That's
Right
right.
now,
Royalty
right?
Financial Solutions. That's right. Hey, we'll see y'all next week. Barbershop Stories Podcast, episode 16.
K1.
16 weeks and running. Shout out to K1. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to Frost. Shout out to Me. What's happening? Shout out to Big Gloves
Everybody that
Barbecue.
fell through.
And shout out to Sonny Black, Rockhouse Records. We appreciate y'all coming in to this live studio audience. We'll see y'all next week. And we out.
Shout out.